This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Thursday, October 17th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so I know Netflix is probably the first thing everyone looked at, but we're going to talk about Netflix last because it is now $300, so just a little bit expensive. And flights in Miami and Fort Lauderdale are the cheapest. Yes, they are. Well, yeah, the flight was not bad at all compared to what it was during the summer. But let's get back to it. So, Kron, 1050, beautiful aspirins. And I know we were talking about this going into the chat room this morning, and there was a few questions coming in. So we got to understand something. Obviously, there's going to be selling. The stock will move from this morning, coming up from that basically 925 level, all the way up to to $11. That's a huge move. We know there's going to be huge amounts of selling. I mean, it's going to happen. But once again, what we really want to look for is number one, controlling prints, because all of the selling that we have after 8:30 is not on any type of controlling prints. And number two, we, we want to make sure that we have new buying coming in. Now, 1050, that's all basically we have at 1050 is new buying. So we've had it hit there twice. Now, one thing is that it really did not pull back even close to as much as you would have expected. But one thing that, just to look at is that we have that orb line sitting right there at 1010. So overall, about 40 cents. It should be more than that, but it trades about 63 cents. It's definitely a hot stock right now based off of 3.7 million shares being traded. So I really would like to see it pull back underneath that 10 level, make a bunch of people get out before we go ahead. It's just, unfortunately, the way that it's kind of sitting right now, it's not looking like it wants to do that. But that's where the high probability is going to come in, is pulling back below that 10 level and then pushing back up towards those buying prints at that 1050. Next thing looking at is IBM. So IBM, big mover, $2.42 on average. Well, not a big mover, but a decent mover, $2.42 on average. And obviously, we're going to be expecting a lot more out of that today, considering the fact that it took a pretty large hit of about $9, or more than nine, about $9 coming down today. So once again, I'm not really interested as much in covering. I know there's going to be covering. What I'm interested in is, do we have new selling? And one thing I really do like is right underneath that 133, we did get some asprints, which is obviously a little bit of covering coming in. But look immediately after that, you can see right underneath, and also at that 133.50, we have beautiful selling that came in. And obviously 135 we had some selling, but that's just that's pretty far away from there right now, so not too interested in that at the moment. But once again, we're just going to need to keep seeing new selling. 132.50 would make the most sense, which we've already kind of came back to. And then obviously we would need to see more coming in and more volume pushing in first to be able to break that. If not, very logical spot is right here at that the highs of where our pre-market is, about 135.75. So if we get the new selling does not come in anymore, we don't see any more new selling, we start to see those buying riders coming back in. Most logical spot is going to be that 136. So two game plans based off of what we see. Either one will work for us, because no matter what, we're going to expect more than $2.42 today. Next thing, PAGS. So PAGS, not the prettiest looking stock, but it does move $2.13 on average. It's moved a whole bunch, 39 up to over 41 this morning. The only thing is that you can see it's just very mixed. It's not the best printing stock, but you can see 39.50 at 6 o'clock this morning, which is a very interesting trade, as well as a lot of difficulty of trade that came into there. Now, just the only problem is, like I said, coming up to this 41, I haven't really seen much new buying yet. So if we don't have any new buying, we're going to end up coming right back down to that 50,000 share print line at 460. And then obviously for selling riders, we're going to end up coming back down towards that 40 level. New buying comes back in at that 41. We can expect, to see about 42.50 at a very conservative level. So once again, we just don't have the prints yet, but once the prints come in, we have our game plans of exactly what we're going to do. And I guess I'll talk about Netflix. All right, so Netflix is $300. So we talked about, especially our everyday stocks, how they're going to be the hardest, things going on in the morning. Now, Netflix isn't usually a very hard trade because of the fact that it doesn't give a lot of huge prints. So when it does give a burst of prints, it's usually really easy to read what it's going to do. But once again, it's just very expensive. And we know the day after earnings that they're going to have the best market makers in the world out there trading this. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to keep an eye on it. It's just $300. I mean, that's expensive. for a stock. It is what it is. So that jump up would have been a lot nicer if it went from, basically that 280 level down $30 instead, because then at that point, it just ties up a lot of buying power. And, it's not easy to trade a lot of shares of either. Even if you have the money to trade a lot of shares, it's not easy because the orders are very thin and you're competing with the best market makers out there in the world. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I haven't seen any there's no beautiful prints that came in that said, okay, I need to trade this stock. Okay, we know it's going to move. We know it's going to be a lot more than 873. We know it's going to be gigantic. But other than that, we need a show of hand in it. So there's not really much there yet. But once you get, it's the same thing that I was talking about yesterday in WDAY. Really, what you're looking for is a burst of 3 to 4 prints, and that's a huge amount. That's just like seeing Apple print 15 prints. Okay, when you see it in a stock like Netflix or a stock like WDAY or something like that. So just wait for it, and if it comes in, if it's your type of stock, or or you're just loaded and you want to trade $300 stock, go for it, because there's definitely a lot of reward to it. It's expensive. That's simple. All right, guys. Anything else out there that I missed? So Tracy, I looked at HEPA before. And my problem is that 5 level, so if we come back up here, there's no buying there. So yes, it fits the characteristics. It's traded 2 million shares already. It's definitely within our price range. But the problem is if you go all the way back, okay, we can see that we've had some below those 8 o'clock Lakers prints that we saw coming in, but there's nothing up around 5. So there being nothing there, what can we actually trigger towards? So really, if the stock starts coming back up, this range of information doesn't really have anything good for us. So if we do get a trigger towards the upside, really, we're guessing. So it definitely fits. It's just, unfortunately, there's nothing for it to trigger towards. And that's the biggest thing that we need for one of these cheaper stocks. So I'll put it on the side list to keep an eye on it, but it's just that's what my problem was. That's why it's not on my list. CANF, let's see. All right, so yeah, nice volume on its way up, 35. Let's see, do we have the same problem we have with the other one? Which, yes, we do. So unfortunately, coming back up, we can see it's the same exact issue. It's a beautiful looking stock, but coming back up, you can see really the 4 levels, the only thing that really showed a lot of buying. Everything else is just, it kills me because those triggers, it's just not triggering to anything. You know what I'm saying? So yes, we do have the 4 here. So if we pull back and then we get a trigger up towards that 4, okay. But then after that, there's really nothing that's sitting back up there. So it's another one. I mean, it's beautiful stock. It's just unfortunately it's just not giving us exactly what we would like to. And with these cheaper stocks, I need to have buying up here. I need to see enough buying down here to get up way above where I'm looking for the stock to go. We talked about this in our last classes on how we need to look and trade these cheaper stocks. So a little bit, it just puts a kink into things and it makes it a lot less probability. So in that case, you'd keep you or price target very conservative. Yes, of course. Absolutely, because no matter what, even if we had buying up here at 550, no matter what at 5, we know there's going to be some type of kinks thrown in there. So, I mean, you really can't go higher than that anyway. But like, for instance, if I want this stock like CANF to go to 5, I need to see prints to make it be able to go to 6. That's how I trade these cheaper stocks like we talked about in the class. All right, guys, so I think that is it. We got a bunch of stuff out there, so it's certainly looking like we're going to have a pretty active open, which is certainly a nice change of pace. But overall, let's get ready for the morning. Remember, okay, our weaknesses, Post-it notes. When I say Post-it notes, those are the things we have written down in front of us that we need to go over every morning. Go over them now. Okay, go over them 2 minutes before the market opens. Make sure we're focusing on our weaknesses. If one of your weaknesses is holding a runner, okay, make sure today's goal is you hold a runner. Okay, we need to focus one at a time. Remember, we can't fix everything that we need to fix all at once. We can only start with the most important and work our way back down to the least important. All right, guys, hone your craft. Exactly. All right, I'll talk to everyone in the chat and happy trading.